She kind of like grabbed my belly and then she kind of like pulled on it. So like I felt it like stretch. And dude, I honestly was like furious. I was like, dude, I can't believe you. You're so disrespectful. When matter of fact, she saved my life. If you don't take care of your wife, like we take care of each other, we're out. If you're not a good mom or dad, we're out.
We fired a guy because he cheated on his wife before.
As they stop, I'm going and I'm like, okay, we're good. As I get right in front of the truck, he shoots across. Listen, just like he's going to freaking run us over. He just shoots across.
What happens when you mix unshakable faith, relentless grit, and no BS approach to leadership? You get Andy and Jacqueline Elliot. In this conversation, Andy and Jackie open up about everything. Building a business from zero, overcoming betrayal, facing an FBI investigation, healing from a childhood trauma, rebuilding their marriage, and leading a team with heart and high standards. They talk about leading with love and fire, the importance of alignment over skill, and why hard lines can save a relationship, and how underdogs can build empires, all while raising kids, staying fit, and keeping God at the center of it all. You will laugh, reflect, and to be honest, even I teared up a little bit as we unpack what it really means to lead yourself before you can lead others.
What is the most surprising thing that you guys found in Dubai so far?
I think a lot of people, especially coming from the States, have a very ignorant conception of, of other countries. And I was very surprised at how fast buildings get put up and seeing all the signs everywhere. I'm like, these people have signs everywhere, like digital signs are everywhere. But I mean, it took us like 3.5 years to build our house. And it's not like, I mean, it's a really nice house, but they build these buildings up and,
That's
massive.
rise in 3.5 years.
Yes, it's amazing. And just the work ethic. And I think it's really cool. And I think a lot of people have that misconception and thinking that, we love America, we love the United States, and it grows very rapidly and there's a lot of stuff, but there's a lot of opportunity out here that a lot of people don't know about. So you talk about the American dream. I think there's lots of different versions of what the dream is. And I think it's a really, really good place for growth. And that's why we're here again. So to me, it's like, there's a big opportunity here in Dubai.
What about you? Does it feel weird like people here from Dubai recognize you, stop you on the street, take pictures, or you guys got used to it by now?
No. Yeah. I mean, I just think the whole world is like media.
True.
Yeah. So there's 8 billion people in this world and most of them are on an iPhone or an Android and they're consuming content through a screen now. And so I feel like the best thing that anybody does anywhere in the world now isn't get on the news. They don't get on radio anymore. They build a brand on social media. And so whether it's through podcasts or Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or LinkedIn or YouTube, whatever, I mean, we use all of them, but like, or Twitter, but like, that's where people consume information. That's the new news. And people used to look up to movie stars, right? And people still do. They look up to The Rock and they look up to, Brad Pitt and, Tom Cruise and these guys. But really, the influence comes from social media. Mm-hmm. And so, so it's just everywhere we go, anywhere around the world, faces stand out because of their brands. Yeah. I mean, for our listeners who might not very familiar with both of your incredible journey, can you each share a little bit about who you are and what exactly do you do? Because the way I introduced you to my producer, I was like, so Andy, he made a living of shouting at people. I know this is very reductive, but if you can share a little bit more.
Well, I mean, that's pretty accurate. I mean, we made a living off of shouting at people. I think that came from, us working and being in and coming from being underdogs. I think that we needed to get triggered and reach rock bottom in order to realize that, hey, there was something better out there for us. So a lot of it was, you saw that Andy was like, got triggered. I triggered him. I grabbed him by the love handle and said, hey, you know what? Not that I needed him to have a six pack, not that I needed him to be a specific way, but I knew there was another level for him to be the best version that was proud of himself in order for him to be the best he can be to me and the kids and in business and everything else. So yeah, shouting at people was one, because he believed in shouting at people and triggering people to be the best selves, because people need wake up, right? But with our journey, I think it came from a lot of pain. It came from a lot of like not being satisfied, just, not living our true potential, but also being those underdogs that were in positions where, we didn't have that example growing up. And, we believed that we had failure in our DNA, and we used that failure as power. And we tried searching for the right place to work and have the right mentors, but we couldn't find them anywhere. So we decided to build a company where, we could be close to our people, where we can go and give our, treat them like family. And people are like, you can't do that with business. Like, you can't share certain things and you're going to get hurt. And yeah, we've been hurt many times, but we've also created something beautiful, loyal people. And, we've built something, a legacy, I believe. So all of this came from pain, but it's become something that we're very proud of now. So
yeah, sales and leadership will get you rich, period. End of story. If anybody's watching this right now, 95% of the world isn't where they want to be financially. Period. So where do they go? Do you go to a 9-to-5 job? Do you sell your soul for a salary? Do you go work hourly? Or do you learn the art of communication? Do you learn sales? And so from 0 to 18 years old, we own the largest sales training company in the world. We built it in the last 5 years. Our life really is the last 5 years. The first 40 years were a lot of mistakes, a lot of lessons, didn't have any good leaders, which is why me and Jackie built our company, because we want to be what we didn't have. We want to teach what we didn't get taught. We want to be the examples that we didn't have. And we want to be to our company what no one ever was to us. And so we want to have the marriages that we never saw. We want to be the parents that we didn't get to see anywhere else, because a lot of parents chase money and they leave their kids to the side. Or they're there with their kids, but they didn't show their kids what a great example is, and they don't show their kids what's possible. I feel like child neglect is not showing your kids what's possible. That's what I feel. And a lot of people are like, I just want to be there for my kids, but don't tell them everything's possible if you're not doing it yourself as their parents. Mm-hmm. And then also I see a lot of people that lose their physical fitness. And I feel like without your health, you have nothing. If I gave you $10 million, but tomorrow morning you woke up and you had cancer, would you give it all away to be healthy again? Yeah. So your health is more valuable than money. But so many people chase money and they're like, one day I'll get back to my health. That's not how it works. Mm-hmm. And so I looked up at 40 and realized I didn't like who I was. And so greatness is found in the extremes. Mm-hmm. I learned obsessed people get the GOAT life. There's the good life, the great life, and the GOAT life. And we never had the GOAT life. And the GOAT life to most people would be success, like money. To me, it's to be close to God. It's to be a great husband. It's to be an awesome father, right? There's nothing more valuable than being an awesome daddy. Being a great leader, looking in the mirror, me being proud of me. Mm-hmm. And then also being a good leader and me being proud of my business. A lot of people make money, but they're not proud of what they have. They just make money. So sales and leadership will get you rich. At 18 years old, I got into sales. I never held more than $5 in my hand at one time. I made $1,700 my first day. I said, this is my way out. So I'm going to get really good at sales. And I did that for about 22 years. The problem is it's a fatherless nation. It's a leaderless nation everywhere, every country. And Jackie, one day I came home and, she was like, hey, me and the kids learned to live without you. And this is when, well, by the way, a lot of families do. They learn to live without their husbands. The reason why is because you're in the pictures, but your mind is still at work. And so I come home and I'm focusing on work and I'm trying to be at home and I'm even eating dinner. I'm even taking pictures. I got my kids over here walking, but my mind is still at work. I'm always, and by the way, I say I do it all for my family, but really I'm doing it because I want to succeed. And I think that succeeding is what my family wants. When really my wife married me because she wanted me to show up as the man that she was going to run through life with. And I was going to be this guy. But over time, we end up pleasing the wrong people. And so many people give everything, got to work and do all these things. And then one day you get fired or something bad happens and someone gets sick and they're not there for you, but they're there. And you start to realize wait a minute, I did all this for those people. They don't care. But the person that, was really there wasn't there. And so basically that was a sum of 22 years in sales. I got really good at influencing, persuading, painting pictures, telling stories, selling ideas, selling situations, learning to be a good speaker, learning the art of communication, which is all sales is, and trying to become a good leader. But I always say, if you can't find it, build it. Mm-hmm. And so when I quit my job, because Jackie's like, me and the kids will learn to live without you, I realized that the industry that I was in, which was a leaderless industry, I needed to, there's a saying, Tony Robbins' mentor was Jim Rohn. He said, work harder on yourself than you do on your job. And I worked for 22 years on my job, and I didn't work on myself at all. I would quit my job at the age of 39 years old. I'm 45 today. And in November of 2019, I quit. And I decided to start spending money on me, which was an investment, me, myself as a human being. And I would build the Elliot Group. We together would build her to be a new woman, me to build a new man. And we would prove, so you want to know what the Elliot Group has, we have the world's largest sales training company. We build leaders all around the world. But I don't like rich people. A lot of rich people do business with us. I'm after the underdogs. I don't like stuck up people. I don't like people that think they're better than other people. And I don't like people, when other people screw up, they say, hey, you're finished. I am a Christian, so I believe in doing and being reborn. I believe that the old is gone, the new has come. I believe that people can make mistakes and they're not defined by the mistake, and they can come back, because I made every mistake in the book. And the best leaders, just to finally tell you why our company is blown up, how we built a 9-figure business, why we get hundreds of millions of views every 30 days on social media, is because we give cold, hard truths. We don't care about kissing anyone's butt. We don't care about anyone liking what we have to say. We've lived right and we've lived wrong. And after doing it all, you realize that, man, you know what? You got to betray people so that you understand you don't want to. You have to be betrayed to understand that it sucks. You have to hurt people, and then you have to be hurt. You have to love people. You have to get screwed over. You have to screw people over. All of these things have to happen for you one day to realize, you know what? All of this had to happen so I could realize exactly who I wanted to be. And so I decided at 40 years old to live a life of human excellence. That's it, until the day I die. And by the way, we still make mistakes every day. And when we mess up, we fess up. And we tell people, we're like, dude, listen, we're not perfect, but here's what we tell you. Our heart's in it. We have tons of passion. And when you see me yelling at people, you know what I do? Honestly, at the end of the day, I'm just pissed off that no one yelled at me a little sooner. So I could have got my stuff together 20 years earlier. Okay. But no one cared about me enough. And by the way, if you look to your left and to your right, if you're out of shape, if you're freaking not taking care of your family, if you're not earning the money you want, and no one's speaking up, you don't have anybody around you that cares about you or loves you. And so if I'm the guy in the room that's telling you the truth, maybe I love you more than everyone else that's letting you stay the same and get your butt kicked. So don't be mad at me. I tell people all the time, Jackie told me the truth. She pissed me off. I looked in the mirror. I owned my shit. I made a decision to change my life. Look where it went. Imagine if my ego would have gotten in the way and I would have been like, screw you. You called me out? No, she called me up. That's a whole different deal. So everything is perspective. Look, if you're looking to get offended, you're always going to find it. Okay? Everything that I say will offend you if you're looking to get offended. Yeah. But if you're looking to grow and you're looking for answers to go to your next level of life, if you just listen to what we say, you're going to be like, oh my God, dude, like this is the blueprint. And so, and we just know we just did it wrong for a long time. So me and Jackie just wanted to be the leaders. We built a sales training program because we believe that everybody in the world must learn sales.
And one of the skills that he has, you know, just to kind of go off of that, you know, you talk about people telling you the truth, right? Yep. He has a skill to basically point out the weaknesses in people, but he also foresees what you can be. And that's why people are so drawn to that. And that's why he makes such a good leader, is that he shows you what you can become. And people believe what they can become until they shoot toward that. Most people can't do that. So we talk about being direct. You earn the right to be direct, right? If you're just direct and you just say what you want, you know, to hurt people, and you don't really care about the other person, you just come across as being the bitch or the asshole, right? Or whatever, right? And especially in leadership. That's why a lot of people get, you know, mad at managers. We believe in teaching people and triggering them, but also showing and painting that picture of who they can become.
Yeah, we wear our heart right here the whole time. Our heart's on our sleeve. Yeah. I mean, it's out there. We've owned every mistake we've ever made in our life.
Right.
the enemy, when you try to change your life, what he'll try to do is use your whole past on you to say, look at what you did. You know, people like you don't make it. Dude, listen to me. We emptied the enemy's gun right out the gate. When I decided to change my life, I said, dude, I made this mistake, that mistake, this mistake, this mistake, this mistake. And I guarantee 100% of these people watching this right now, they've all got skeletons in the closet. You've got them. I've got them. We've all got them. And people hide from them forever. I'm like, no, dude, listen, if you're going to be a good leader, you own it. And you say, dude, yeah, like I'm the comeback kid. I'll come back from anything. I don't care what it is. And anyone else watching this can come back from anything. Anything. The biggest embarrassment on planet Earth, you can come back and end up being the greatest. In the Bible, the Apostle Paul was the Christian killer. He was Saul. And no matter what religion you're in, he is Saul and he turned to Paul. And he took the Bible very far. And all I'm saying is the guy was killing people. And then now he went to changing people's lives. Okay. And so I just feel like me as in Jackie, like I feel like that we raised our hand and we're like, dude, we want to be leaders. Like that's what we want to be. And we want to be the leader of leaders. Like we train over 10,000 companies and they all have great leaders in them. And me and Jackie, we just want to get our hands on these people because if you want great employees, if you want to build a big business, you're not going to go recruit these people from some other company. You're going to build them internally. Yeah. And they work for the leader for blood, sweat, and tears, and they work for the manager for a paycheck. And so when your people leave you, it's because you were never their leader. You were never their coach. They didn't ever want to be you. You had no influence over their life.
Yeah. And when you're always talking about money, don't be surprised when they leave you for it.
Yeah. All of our whole company, nobody works for us for money. A lot of people make a lot of money now. But in the beginning, they just wanted to be around us because they knew if they could get around us, they knew the way their families would be. They knew the way that they would be as parents. They knew the way that they would think inside their head. They knew the perspective that we have. And, it's infectious. If the devil was to take you out, all he would have to do is put you around people that have bad influence. That's it. And so anyways, but what we do is that we have the world's largest sales training program, and it's kind of evolved into like life coaching and things like that, because a lot of people, they don't just have problems like selling. That's a skill, but a lot of people get lost in their head. A lot of people don't believe in themselves. A lot of people don't know how to, take risks, honestly. And the biggest risk is staying the same. They're like, yeah, but if I did this, it wouldn't work. Dude, that's a lie. The devil wants to keep you average.
Yeah, we try to teach people. We started by teaching people how to sell, how to make money, and we were very successful at it. Overcoming objections, sales process, road to the sale, all this stuff. But then we realized that these people were lost. They didn't have the best marriages. They didn't have weren't the best parents. They would make money and lose money and then start over. And it's just, I had gambling problems, addictions, all these different things. So then we started being very open about what we do as, we became marriage millionaires. So it's like we're showing how we lived. So we became more of their mentors in that way. So we talk a lot about that because people don't have, business problems most of the time. They have personal problems and they can't perform in business or become the best them. So since we started shifting that, it's become what he says, more life coaching and more sustainable income when you have the family involved and, having that.
Yeah. If I'm the best in business and you are too, but I got a better home life than you, I'm going to kick your ass because in 2 years from now, you're going to fall apart and you're going to start over at zero. And so,
And now the Elliot Group is making around $100 million revenue per year.
Yeah, we have a 9-figure business growing big.
But let me take you back. You told Andy, hey, I can live without you. I mean, I have a very supportive partner. And when I feel like, how do we know everything's going to be all right? But no, you chose to be more direct with him. Why exactly did you do that?
Well, throughout our journey, I think it was a lot of, knowing that he wasn't proud of himself, like seeing that I knew and I could foresee him as being great. And even in the beginning of our relationship, like I was more of the risk taker and he was working at the same place for a long period of time. And I thought, man, you're freaking amazing. Why are you still stuck at this? And I was challenging him. And that's what made us attractive, And then as you go and you have kids, like I became more of like, the mom and, forgot to take risks. And then all of a sudden it was like, I realized that, his mind was always somewhere else. So I told him, hey, you're not where your feet are. I want you to go kick ass at work. I want you to be the best man that you can be so that you can come home and give us that energy and be proud of yourself. But also, society teaches you have to give up one thing to have the other. So with us, it was like, how can I, be direct with him? And because I'm Hispanic, Hispanic people, they're very fiery. They're very like direct, and, we're very loyal, we go, but we don't have filters. So with me, I knew that I needed a trigger. I didn't want to hurt him. I didn't want to break his heart by telling him, hey, we learned to live without you. I knew that it was going to happen, but something needed to switch, or else you hear about these people that, they live together forever and they're miles apart. They have death by 1,000 paper cuts, they resent each other. And there was a point where honestly, like I was starting to resent him. Like it wasn't, you can be the best looking person in the world, but if you don't have that connection, you start to resent each other. And, I was starting to get angry a little bit and seeing that he wasn't the best person that he can be. He was always a good dad. He was always a good husband. Like we never cheated on each other. He was there for us. He didn't go out and drink with his buddies, but I knew there was another level in him. And that's why we got married, because we challenged each other. And I just needed to piss him off. And I knew that he was going to come back, and it could have gone one or the other, right?
Yeah. But you know what's crazy though? She was right.
Man, that's
watch.
Hard to admit, man.
No. Listen, I was making $2.5 million in 2019.
MashaAllah.
I had a good life. If you want the GOAT life and you have somebody next to you that says, hey, dude, you're qualified for the GOAT life. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Don't get mad at that person. Say, thank you, I owe you. She woke me up. I needed to get pissed off. I needed to get stirred up. You don't have any passion? You're dead. I was dead for 40 years. Last 5, I've been awake. Yeah. I've been alive. I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of people watching people on social media, and they're wondering, man, when am I going to get my turn? You got to have someone next to you, man, that says, dude, listen, you're either going to sit around and talk about it, and we're going to get a lot of lip service here, or I'm going to get some life service. You're going to make some changes. You're going to make some new decisions. You're going to start taking risks. You're going to believe in yourself differently. You're going to start changing and then never change back. Here's what I'll tell you. Lost people don't know they're lost. In 2019, when she hit me, I didn't know I was lost. I thought I was doing better than most. She's got a purse full of cash. Our cars are paid off. Our houses are paid off. Shit's good. Everybody that said I wasn't going to make it, I proved them all wrong. I'm sitting here. Dude, the devil had me in comfort. And that comfort, my mind was being occupied by nothing but business. Well, what about being close to God? That was always important to me. Didn't have time for that. What about physical fitness? What about me looking in the mirror and being proud of me? Dude, didn't have time for that. Dude, I'm shredded right now. I'm in great shape. I am telling you, like, dude, I take very good care of myself. I'm 45 years old. I feel like I'm 18. I was never like this. Had she not triggered me, by the way, is she a bad person? Or does she love me and believe in me? Dude, I'm telling you, that's why I said, be very careful. If you ever have someone that has the balls to tell you the truth, be very careful before you shut them up. Just ask yourself, what if she's right? What if I could be ripped, shredded, jacked? What if I 50x my income? How did that happen? Well, very simple. I didn't love me. I wasn't very good to me. I was bringing home leftovers. You say, well, you're making good money. Yeah, but I was going home a trash can. I was exhausted. I was tired. My intentions changed. When she checked me, the biggest thing that changed, my whole life, I helped a lot of people make money, but I never changed anyone's life. I never did. And if anyone has ever helped another human and changed their life, you know the way it feels. I never felt that. And when I started to change, I was living proof to others that had seen me live, that they were like, dude, you're changing my life because I'm watching you change. And I was like, man, that feels good. You know what I learned though? This is a big one, that everyone that I knew in my life, those wouldn't be the people that would support me. Those people, because they put a box around me and they figured out like who I was, what I did, they saw my whole life. Those people didn't believe in me. Those people laughed at me, mocked at me, made fun of me, even my family, all of them. But I will tell you this, the new people, after we would change, millions of new people would say, dude, you inspire me. I look up to you. You're the example I always wanted. So I'm going to say this, when you go to change, there's this like purgatory phase where it's like in between heaven and hell, where you're like, what are we doing? Where you outgrow everyone you've ever known and you're alone. We were in the dark. We sold our house. She sold our house. She sold our furniture. She sold everything. We slept on mattresses for 2 years in the dark.
We didn't really tell anybody.
And we didn't tell anybody. No one knew this.
Wow.
That's a big thing, because a lot of people.
And we never complained.
Yeah.
This is a big deal. Like, we never told anyone. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm making sacrifices. Buddy calls you, he's like, I just sold my car, man, because I'm trying to be an entrepreneur. Hey, dude, shut your mouth. Why don't you go create something out of your life and become who you want to become? And then you can tell the story when you make it. But so many people try to tell the story along the way, and they're just victims.
Yeah.
We didn't tell no one.
Yeah, we decided to make these sacrifices. We had the big house that probably belonged in a magazine, that was like, everything was paid off. I mean, in our house, everybody come in, oh my gosh, we worked so hard to get that, like so hard. And when we decided, which it was when I saw that we wanted this so bad to change this life, we knew it was going to take everything we've got, So we went and we rented a little tiny house. We sold all of our furniture. We went and slept on mattresses. And we said, hey, you know what? Like, I did not tell my parents. I did not tell anybody. Because if I would have, imagine the conversation, how would it have gone? Hey, Mom, Dad, listen, we're going to make some sacrifices because we have this dream that we're going to go build this great sales training company and we're going to go sleep on this. They would have been like, what are you thinking? Like, you're going to go and do this. And then when things get hard, I told you so. Those voices come in your mind. Like, we didn't tell anybody. We we told our kids, obviously, hey, we're going to go make these sacrifices. We're going to sleep on mattresses, but you know what? It's going to be fun. We're going to get close together as a family. We sold them the dream. And that's just the problem with most people. I think that they do share their sacrifices too soon, that when it gets difficult, all those voices, I told you so, get into your mind and you sell yourself out. And that's the biggest thing. Like with our relationship. Yeah. Everybody fights. Everybody has disagreements. Everybody goes through these things. And I think that the problem that most people have is that they go and, and the women, they go and tell, oh, my dad, mom, he told me this, or he called me this name. Well, the parents are never going to forget that. They're going to be like, remember when you made this mistake? Remember when he did this to you? And then you're okay holding hands. And why won't they accept my husband? Well, you did this. You're the one that caused them not to accept him because you complained about that time or that one little fight that you had. They're not going to forget that. They love you, right? They want you to be okay. But your family's going to, always
Jackie's
remember the
never
mistakes.
told her parents anything negative about me. They think
they think he's perfect. They think he's like an angel.
But this is the key. If you want to have a great marriage, like most people don't know how to have one, never bring up the past. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of men that are watching this right now that'll say, hey, I want to change.
Right.
Like, I want to change like he did. Like, I'm going to change. But if your wife just keeps reminding you of who you were in the past, you can't. The one thing that Jackie did, and I would say this for any woman, is, and this is important, is when she saw that I was committed to this new version of me, that version of me hasn't lived out yet. I wanted to be this man, but there was no proof that I was this new man yet. But she said, hey, I see where you're going. It's like telling your kids, I believe in you. You're not a bad kid. If your kid makes a mistake, you're going to say, you're a bad kid. No, you say, you're a good kid. You did that bad thing. That's not you. You're a good kid. She was like telling me, like, you're going to make it. We're going to kill it.
I had to
You're
be
a great
the best
man.
saleswoman in the world.
But because she did, though, because she did, we didn't get historical, and a new man evolved and I was built. By the way, also, this new man included her in the dream. A lot of people don't include their family in their dreams. And that's why the wives won't support to build this big thing, and there's disconnect. And so, Jackie's my best friend. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, when we slept on mattresses for 2 years, those were the best things that ever happened because we got closer than ever. I learned this, and you'll have to find this out on your own, or you can take my word for it. It'd be better to put yourself in my shoes so you wouldn't have to go do it. But money just buries problems. And we were making good money growing up. And all the little problems we had, I would just try to buy the kids off. I would buy her something. I would, and that little zing would get us just a little further and a little further and a little further. But when I quit my job,
because that stuff doesn't work on me.
yeah, but when the money dried up though, because we sold everything, and you know, like I wasn't who I needed to be, she wasn't, so we had to invest a lot of money into ourselves to build ourselves. That was a time where like we really had to start fixing some stuff between me and her. Thank God. To the world, they're like, oh, you slept on mattresses. We took 2 steps back. To me and her, we took 20 steps forward.
Right.
Dude, literally, listen, materialistic crap. Me and her, people was like, what do you fear? A lot of people that make money, they're like, what do you fear? And they're like, going broke.
Yeah.
Me and her don't care about going broke.
No. We love nice things. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
we
but
live.
we're not
we have a very
afraid
good
of
life.
it. We're
We
not
can
afraid
sleep
of
right
it,
here.
dude.
Totally cool.
But we're not afraid of it. It doesn't define what we have. We're already rich. We're already marriage millionaires. We're dude, our kids, I got 3 beautiful kids. We're best friends with them. They're best friends.
Yeah.
My kids were in the gym with me today. If you go to our stories today and you pull up, they all got 6-packs. They're shredded. They're ripped. They're killers. They want to be just like mom
Our
and dad.
9-year-old has a 6-pack.
Oh, wow. That's
She's a girl.
Hey,
She's a girl as well. Oh, wow.
dude, listen, my other daughter's 12 years old. She's got a 4-pack. She's almost at a 6-pack. And she's a killer. And dude, she goes to the gym twice a day. She's a nut. But here's the biggest thing though, is this. Over my dead body, and a lot of families don't do this, they go to work, they motivate their employees, they motivate everybody, and they go home and give their family leftovers. Over my dead body, am I not going to be the man that's going to go home and motivate my kids and my family? That is my responsibility. And I feel like God, and the reason why he's had favor on us and blessed us is because I finally started taking care of my family the way I should have since I had them. And most people forget about their family. I'm dead serious. Yeah. And so this, to me, is something that I have to keep first. When I say my family is number one now, my family is really number one. And, you know, honestly, I'm just saying like this little part, even though that you're a businessman, this part is the secret to building a big business. Because if your home life sucks, you're going to lose everything you build. What value is it to have a beautiful family, chase business, get this, and then lose this?
You have to get both. You can have it all.
Again, I have a small admission to make. We usually, because we watch TikTok videos or Instagram reels, we only see like 10 seconds, 5 seconds. And we have this conception, or at least I had this conception of you that you're the tough guy. And I've seen you on Patrick Bet David. He's a hero of mine. And when I met you, even when I said hi, I just want to introduce myself. And you were super nice, super kind to me. I was a little bit shocked, surprised. And even when you introduced your wife, like, Mahmoud, you have to meet my wife. She's the CEO. She's the killer. I was like, that's freaking amazing.
Yeah.
It's very different than what we see on social media.
Well, that's my media team. They're always showing the worst side of me. Listen, when you grow, you have a team, right?
True.
And the team, right? Like if you go look at our last reel that we just posted 5 minutes ago, it's got a couple 100,000 views on it. It's because Jackie's punching me with a punching deal, and she's beating the heck out of me, and she knocks me over, right?
Oh, wow.
But watch.
Well, it wasn't like
But my point is,
Jackie.
but watch, if the content is like me,
they make me look
going,
like the
hey,
biatch too.
but watch this. But if the content is me going, hey, baby girl, what's going on? It's like, dude, that stuff isn't going to blow up. So they're always trying to find the hard truths, the triggering thing. Remember this, a social media brand is only built half by haters, half by followers. Dude, your haters, they have to exist. You can't please everybody. Okay, so you have to have haters to
for
grow.
a little bit. When they meet the real Andy, then they start loving.
Well, that is true. When people meet us, like we're super loving. And
We got a message the other day, and there was this guy that left Andy a message because he was running around with his shirt off here. And in Dubai, you don't get a lot of that, obviously, because you know, more conservative. So he's like, man, he's like, Andy, I got to tell you, he's like, you're walking around with your shirt off, and I kind of hate that. And listen, I'm a hater of yours. I got to admit, I'm the one that's leaving all the bad comments and all this other stuff. But then I turn around and I see your beautiful kids, and I see you walking, and honestly, like he went from being hateful to, I just want to be like you. You just become my new mentor. And I'm just like, what's going on with this guy? Do we need to worry about this guy? Like, what's
my
happening?
social media team only shows the psycho side, which, by the way, I am a psycho competitor. I am. Look, you follow Patrick Bet David?
Yeah.
He's a killer.
He is.
Listen, he's a good buddy of ours. I talk to him all the time. We're like family. We're very close. We're cool. But he is a killer. He is a very kind father. He's a very loving husband. But listen, man, like he don't play. Like, you know, like he's a savage.
Yep, he's very concise.
He's very loving. He
like,
loves God. He's a strong Christian. But like at the end of the day, like, dude, like
it's like his
he's
book,
a business.
Choose Your Enemies Wisely. Why would you think that way? You have to be kind of psycho to think of.
You have to be
to build an enemy in order to succeed. So, I mean, that's a good thing. Use your pain as fuel. You use that fire.
And just like you follow him, like we started. He was one of the first mentors that we found in 2020. And everything that I just said was his future truth, which you hear, like, call out who you want to be, even if you're not it. Become that person, believe you're that person, act like that person. And in a due time, that lie that you told yourself will be the truth. And me and Jackie looked up and we were that truth. I mean, I remember making videos for the first 2 years on social media and there was nobody liking them but Jackie. There was no one. And then one day,
it was pretty awesome. He would show up. Okay, so he would make his videos.
I was scared to death because like this is all new.
It is.
But he would wear you know, first it was like, obviously now we have like Elliot shirts and stuff like that. But when we're still trying to figure it out, he had his tie on with his shirt, but he was shooting them in his underwear, and people don't know that.
Nobody knew I was in my underwear.
In his underwear,
bro.
Because he felt like a penguin from the waist up. So he felt like he had to like look like the salesman, the sleazy, you know, sales guy. But you know, he's all dressed up here, but down here,
he had a tie.
Yeah.
I want to tell, but I want to tell you about the tie thing real quick because this is important to anybody. If anybody wants to build a real brand, in the beginning you try to fit in.
Yes,
it's the worst thing you can do. Okay, I want to explain. We learned a very big lesson. You know, Grant Cardone, all these guys got their ties. They got all these things. I thought in order to be in business, I had to be like that. If you're watching me, you see I wear short shorts. Okay, which is how I like to dress. I like short shorts. I don't like to wear a shirt and I don't like to wear shoes. That's what I don't like. I'm a very good salesman. I can close anyone. I can be a great leader. I don't need a dress suit to do it. I believe in me that much, but I thought I needed these things. And one day I was like, dude, you know what? Screw this shit. I'm like, I'm going in a black shirt. I'm going black ops. I'm wearing an Elliot shirt everywhere I go. I'm like, this is how I'm going to roll. I'm not going to be like one of these rich guys that made it. I'm going to go fight for the underdogs. I want to look like I'm like freaking in a Navy SEAL, Delta Force, Green Beret. Like I'm going to get jacked. I'm going to get shredded. I mean, I'm honestly going to like, I've never been in the military, but I'm going to operate militant. I decided that this was the way I was going to be. And I want to tell you, fitness changed my life, which I don't sell fitness. Okay. So like, let's be completely clear. When I say you need to take care of yourself, to me, it's the foundation of a new identity for a new life. If you look in the mirror and you see a new you will operate differently, period. Hands down. You'll feel different. You'll feel self-esteem, self-belief, self-confidence. Yeah. Try to sell anybody, try to sell anyone a dream, try to walk into any room and have moral authority. Without those things, you're screwed. People will respect you when you take care of yourself. It's the truth because it's hard to do. And so I can see someone across the room and I can respect them because I know they make good decisions if they take care of themselves. I wanted to take care of myself so much that when I finally started to do it, our success started to go up. We started to make good money. I started to be a better man. And I was like, oh my God, like I'm not selling fitness, but I want to tell everybody that like step one is start taking care of yourself. Like when I like me, like I love everyone. Like I'm a better man. I'm better in sales. I'm better to my wife. I'm better to my kids. I process information better. My mind works clearer. I'm like, I'm on a new freaking level because I took time, oxytocin, serotonin, dopamine, endorphins, these chemicals, this biological reward. When I hit the gym in the morning, I get to feel this energy all day long. I'm like, try it out, try it out, try it out. So I built this killer training system, this killer training program that was showing people how to rock it. But I took my shirt off and I started telling people, this is like 4 years ago, that like, guys, I'm telling you, start working out, you know, men, women, like start taking care of yourself, be a business athlete, right? Like this is our adult sport. Hey, you don't play a sport right now. You're freaking in business. Look well, take care of yourself, right? They didn't like that. I had a lot of companies call me and say, if you take your shirt off again, because we allow you to train our company, but if you take your shirt off again, we're gonna cancel the training with you.
We lost a lot of people
Well,
by
listen,
being us.
so
Yeah.
me and Jackie had a decision. I always wanted to start my business. I tried back in 2010, 2011 for a minute, and I did it for about 6 months. But then I went back to work for a company because I was traveling all the time. I wasn't home. She helped me open an LLC, and then I went back into the corporate world again. In 2019, 2020, I would come and revisit my business again. And this time I wanted to try it. And then it started working. I started making money. But because I wanted to share everything, Jackie's always like, you always want to share everything. Because I want to tell people the truth. Like, hey, you want to know like the bullcrap lie how I got here, or you want to know the truth? I started taking care of me. I believed in myself more. And the more you believe in yourself, the higher you're going to go. That's the game. And you got to learn skill and all these other things. Yeah, but like you got to like who you are. You'll never out-earn your own self-worth. My self-worth was crap. Finally, for the first time, it was there. And I believe I'm like, I can pull this off. And then now I get these businesses saying they're going to cancel me. And so I had a choice. Golden handcuffs. What do?
Did you fold?
No. We let them cancel.
We let them cancel.
You know what we decided? We're going to be who we're going to be, and we're going to go find our people. Today, we have tens of thousands of companies training with us who love us, who love how we teach their team that they do have to take care of themselves, that the goal is to take care of your health. Why would you not want to? You can't lose sight of that. But also the skill side, like, dude, we're a good example for people. I love my wife. I love my kids. I love taking care of people. I say, don't lie, keep your word. I say it doesn't matter who you were in the past. All it matters is who you want to be now. Let's go get it. I mean, dude, you're a crappy leader. If you tell people, hey, man, I know what you did, dude, everybody, if that was it, everybody's done. We're all finished.
The alcohol, you can't, teach somebody to stop drinking or quit being an alcoholic if you weren't an alcoholic at one point in your life, right?
Yeah.
You have to make sure that they know what you're going through.
Yeah, dude, if you're an alcoholic, right? And this, we always say this, but like, would you want someone who was an alcoholic but then beat it to be the one to show you how to beat it, or a guy that's never had a drink? Yeah, I got a problem. Yeah, but I've never had that problem, but let me show you how to go get it. Hey, let me show you how to fix your marriage, but I've never been married. I'm not listening to your crap.
And you remind me in my MBA, it's the teachers start to teach me how to build a business. They never build a business.
That's what I'm talking about.
Jump.
You have all these teachers that aren't making money and they're teaching you business at business school.
Yes.
Like, I'm like, what? It doesn't even make any sense.
That's like when I started this by saying you have to betray someone and then you have to be betrayed to understand that betrayal sucks. You have to feel both ends.
Yeah. Or
You have to lie.
Rock bottom.
Yeah, you have to lie and you have to be lied to. You have to be a good leader and you have to be a bad leader. You have to go through all this. You have to hurt someone. You have to have someone hurt you. You have to feel all of this so that you can make a decision to say, hey, man, I have been through hell and this is who I want to be on the other side.
Well, you protect it with your life.
Yeah. And honestly, and by the way, if you haven't really felt this stuff, dude, you'll have no passion. And if you have no passion, no one's going to follow you. The number one thing, if you want to build a brand, is you got to have influence. And people, the eyes are the window to the soul. They can look right in people's eyes and they can tell if you're full of shit, okay? Or if you really mean what you say and you're really going to do what you're going to do. And so when we changed, we were like, dude, we're going to live the rest of our lives like trying to help other people.
Yeah.
And we never knew that it could create like economical like income like we have now. But that wasn't why we started it. And I think if your intentions are in the right place and your heart's in the right place, I think God can do some really big stuff with you.
Yeah.
But even when he was a little bit overweight, you kind of pulled on his love handles and I told him, hey, you're getting too comfortable.
Well, I didn't want to hurt him. I mean, let's just set that straight. But I knew that I needed to trigger him in order to become that. So there were conversations, there were fights along the way. There was me trying to find a way for him to understand. I knew that he wasn't proud of himself. I knew that there was another level in him, but how can I get it through to him? I mean, the Mexican in me, the fiery Mexican in me, I mean, good at triggering, right? But I grabbed him by the love handle and I told him, looks like we're getting a little comfortable.
Oh God, that's tough coming from your woman, man.
Yes.
It felt like spiders were crawling up my back.
So,
when
and then I squeezed it and I pulled on it a little bit. So he felt it and he's like, what are you doing? And I did piss him off. He went into the garage and he got pissed off. He shaved his head thinking he was going to come out a different person, by shaving his hair. He worked out for like 3 hours and he, and he just wanted it so badly, but he came back. And it's so interesting with Andy, the way it is. Like, I know how important fitness is to him and was to him, and he wasn't giving himself that time. See, a lot of women, they complain, oh, my husband spends too much time in the gym or anything. Well, if he's coming home and he's not spending that time, like with me, I'm like, hey, listen, I know you're going to come back in a better mood if you do go to the gym, right? And I can get, even if it's a shorter period of time, I know I'm going to get the best him. But the reason why I did grab him is because I needed to piss him off. There's some people that need to learn by getting pissed off. And he has a big heart. He has a massive heart. He's always had this heart, but he needed to be upset and find that new level by getting that trigger, which was me pulling on his love handle. And when he came out of that garage, and he really was able to release all those endorphins, hitting that exercise, he came back and he said, you know what, you're right. I apologize. I am not proud of myself, and I need to be. And he told me one thing that was like, hey, I need you. I need you to help me become that man that I need to be. And I know that you believe in me.
That's a lot of courage.
Oh yeah. So it did take a lot of dropping the ego, but he also knows that I love him more than anybody else in the world. Right. And he knows that I'm extremely loyal and there's nothing I wouldn't do for him. So it's like, if somebody's going to trigger you, it has to be somebody that loves you and that foresees that other person. So yeah, it took a lot of courage on my side to be able to tell him that, because it could have gone one or two ways, right? It could have caused a massive fight and it could have caused a lot of disconnect. But at that point I was like, hey, we're holding on to what we have. And yeah, we have the kids and we have this, but I don't want to have a relationship like a roommate. Like, hey, I go pick up the laundry and you take the kids to ballet, or whatever it is, and not intimacy that we have as a couple. So we were losing that. So I was to the point where I was like, hey, I'm going to piss him off, and it can only get better. If not, we're just it's death by 1,000 paper cuts. Just keep, resenting each other and, not really understanding each other and living that way. I believe that's handcuffs themselves too. So it's like, hey, what's the worst that could happen? I was like, hey, thank God that, it opened up his eyes and made him really understand that, hey, you know what? We need to fight for us.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of guys that are being a little bitch right now. It's just the truth. And they can't take criticism. And that's why their life will never change. And at the end of their life, they're going to die with regrets. Look, I thank God every day that she called me out. I'm so grateful. Yeah. And at the end of the day, listen, Jackie is an alpha. I'm an alpha. Jackie wants to be led, a leader. I wasn't being the best leader, period. I had gotten lost. I had gotten distracted. I was unfocused, and I honestly was a little bit numb. Sometimes in life, when we're really just caught up in hard work as a man or even as a woman, our heart tends to become like ice. And it was becoming like ice. And anytime your heart becomes like ice, you're going to look up. Yeah. You're going to lose everyone that loves you all around you, and you're going to be all alone. And even if they stay with you, it's all going to be ice. Yeah. And you're going to lose your relationship with your kids and your wife. And then you're going to wake up one day and she's packing her shit and leaving anyways. And it's the truth. Jackie was going to be successful even without me. So if you're the kind of girl that's like, I'm going to date this guy because he's going to take care of me, maybe she'll stick around. I don't know. But Jackie, she saw that I was going to be great. I made a promise to her that I would be great. That's why she gave me her life. Right? I just wasn't keeping my word. And if you're any sort of a real person around here, when someone's not keeping their word and you love that person, you find a way to tell them. I think she tried about 10,000 ways.
One was the one that worked.
Probably for years, she had probably been trying to get this message across to me. And then finally she reaches over and just grabs my love handle. Oh, God. And when she kind of grabbed my belly, and then she kind of pulled on it. So I felt it stretch. And dude, I honestly was furious. I was like, dude, I can't believe you. You're so disrespectful. When matter of fact, she saved my life. I'm so glad that she had the courage to speak up. Yeah. I'm so glad, though, that she found a way to communicate it, to get it across to my thick, dumb freaking head. Listen, she probably tried the sweet way. All the 1,000 times before that where she probably tried being finesse about it, it didn't work. So what do? I don't know if you got kids or not, but sometimes you're like with your kids, you're like, hey, you know, pick that up. Hey, pick that up. Sometimes you have to go, hey, and you got to do something like that. And they're like, what? And and you're like, pick it up. Then they realize mom and dad ain't playing no more.
Yeah.
And so
I had to become his mom.
hold on, but it's very rare that you have to do that. But I needed that. I've always been the kind of guy that tries to go outside the lines. I need hard lines. I've always been that kind of swerver. You know what I'm saying? And so when I met Jackie, I was a player. I cheated on every girl my whole life growing up. Look, my mom left when I was 2 years old.
Oh, have you seen that movie Wedding Crashers?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, that was me.
Andy, but I like the
I want
Wedding
you-
Crashers on steroids. Like basically, he was that bad.
Well, but I want you
But
to understand.
never
Remember,
with me.
Apostle Paul was not always Paul; he was Saul. So I'm just being very clear that the best husbands out there sometimes weren't the best men. Dude, my mom left when I was 2. She's an alcoholic. She walked out on us. I never had a mom around. I hated her growing up because
But he tried to use that excuse with me, and I said, "Listen, I'm not listening to that."
no. But my point is that. But I always was around these girls that would like let me play them.
Yes.
But when I met
That's
Jackie,
because you used to take care of them,
right? But
that was different.
But remember how I said like I need hard lines, right? There's guys that watching this and they need hard lines. And listen, beside every badass man is a badass woman. Listen, badass men and weak women don't go together, or there'll be multiple divorces. Okay. And by the way, like when I got with her, she goes, hey, listen, you don't need me. I don't need you. We get along together. We like each other. We have fun. But if we're going to get together, like there's a rule. Like I don't play. Like if you're ever going to cheat on me, like you're never going to explain to me why you did it. You're not going to explain to me if we have kids and we're together, you're never going to explain to me that you were drunk or this happened or you were drugged. I don't care. You'll never see me again. I swear on my life. So if we're going to do it,
God.
well, no, it's not, oh God. The deal is that you decide, do I want to, am I that serious about this? Yes or no? And honestly, with Jackie, when she said, like, there's no gray area here. It's black or white. It's either we're not together or we are together. But if we're together till we die. And if
I'm
we're
that
not,
stubborn person
it's
that
no
keeps
big
my
deal.
word, which is really scary.
But you know what I loved? I love seeing the independent woman. I love her not needing me. I love her wanting me. I love that. I love that she doesn't need me. You know why we're a power couple? Because Jackie's very smart. Jackie is witty. She's going to make it on her own. She was in sales when I met her. She was making a lot of money. She had 3 or 4 houses. She was 24 years old. She was doing really well. She had all the cars. I was 26. She was doing better than me. But you know what? It wasn't about money. It was about, I knew that she knew what she wanted. Okay. And she was like, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it. If we're not, we're not. I'm not going to beg you. I'm not going to kiss your ass. It either works because it's amazing or it doesn't work. We're not forcing nothing. And I loved that straight directness, and I never had that before. And I love that she didn't need me. Like she didn't need me to take care of her. She didn't need me to pay her bills. She didn't need me to do anything. She was going to be fine. She was kicking ass on her own. So for the first time, I was like, dude, wait a minute. That's a power couple. Like she's a killer, I'm a killer, we're together. Now in the beginning we clashed.
Oh my gosh.
Right? Because we were like both fighting to win. And then we
fighting
realized
for territory.
Yeah. But we realized if someone wins, no one wins, right? Like you don't hurt the person you love. But we figured these things out, man. But I'm trying to tell you that her giving me hard lines at certain times in our life has allowed me to catapult up. If she wouldn't have given me like those hard, direct truths, which I've known she was like that from her 20s. We've been together 20 years.
MashaAllah. 20 years.
Yeah. So, but my point is, so when she lays down like this, one thing that you must understand about women is women have a really good intuition. Jackie has a very good intuition.
That's why they call me the cartel.
Yeah, I call her the cartel leader because she's never wrong. Like you see guys in the drug lord movies, they die. The cartel leaders die
because they die.
They always think like they get caught or there's like one more run. Jackie is always like, I don't like that guy. She's never been right. She's like, that guy.
Never been wrong.
Listen, we can make a lot of money with that guy, but 5 years down the road, I always say this, in business, it's a superpower to be able to see around corners. It's a superpower. Most people can only see the hand in front of their face. They can't see around corners. she sees around corners. She knows what's behind that corner, and she's never been wrong. So it's really scary. So when she's like, don't do this or do that, as much as I want to fight it, the times that I fought it, she's always had to clean up the mess because she was right and I should have listened to her. So I learned, like, dude, like, I'm not like laying down here. Like, when she speaks up and she voices something, it's because she feels it and she's warning me and she's trying to protect me. And so I need to just be like, not like back down, like, okay, like, whoa, like, she's proven again and again and again that she's right. And she's cleaned up my mess our whole life. And so now, like, especially when I say this, the last 5 years is my whole life.
That's when I recreated.
Yeah, that's when I recreated. So if you were to ask me any question about before the last 5 years, I would honestly tell you, I was a piece of shit. I was a loser. I didn't have any good direction. I made a lot of bad decisions. I wasn't proud of anything that I did. And all that stuff, I probably did every bit of it and 10 times more. But you're not going to meet that guy. That guy's dead.
That's why when you met Andy, you're like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was super sweet. And I love the fact that he was championing you. He was like, Mahmoud, you have to be the CEO of our company. You have to meet my wife. And I love this energy. And I love the dynamics that you guys play. But for example, for you, Andy, you had a remarkable career in the automotive sector. And before the Elliot Group, what kind of lessons that you carried to the Elliot Group?
Just everything I named on this whole thing.
Sales and leadership.
Yeah, I mean, sales is the art of communication. Sales is influence.
Yes.
We built a brand based off influence. I think I learned standards. I mean, I created a new set of standards that I didn't have. One of the biggest things that I would tell you, I didn't carry, listen, I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't carry a lot of things into it.
You carried some stuff. Like, you've always been the person that really draws people. You have that energy. You've always been good at teaching people. Like, people have always followed you in a way.
Yeah, but like, listen, I always tell people, like, if you want to like change your life right now, like, you don't always need to know who you want to be, but you need to know who you don't want to be. And I'm going to tell you what she may tell you. Like, I don't really like to talk about like what I was good at. I remember what I wasn't good at. Yeah. And that creates so much pain that honestly makes me want to be the best person ever and makes me really want to freaking keep growing like psycho and prove to myself who I should have been the whole time.
Your intentions though have changed.
Yeah, but like who I don't want to be. Like my intentions were I wanted to make money. Okay. I always say this, and now me and her don't make any decisions based on money. No. None. Zero. Zilch. The times I've gotten in trouble, the times I've always had issues, I always chose to do business with someone who she said, I don't like that guy. But I was like, but babe, we're going to make a lot of money. We're going to do this. Trust me. Give me a couple years. We're going to be okay. And she was like, Andy, I don't like that guy. These people, they never acknowledge my family. People don't do that in the business world anymore. Yeah. They use you for everything they can to make as much money as they can.
Yeah, and their family values.
And they tell you everything you want to hear, and they'll pay you whatever you want as long as you can get them the numbers. But these people, they don't care about you, man. They're all around the world. And so now I don't have a meeting with anyone without Jacqueline there. Guys like, hey man, I got a private jet. I'm going to pick you up. We're going to talk about this business deal. Can make all this money. I'm like, cool. Hey, let's jump on a Zoom call with my wife. Right.
Oh, wow. So, okay.
I'm not even joking, dude. Like you don't like it doesn't happen. Yeah. Like, and by the way, there's no like guys meetings. Like say, yeah, no, this is kind of like a guy thing. Oh, okay,
I've never told him that he.
No. These are my rules. Like I created.
He's done it himself.
You learn, right? You learn. And I've learned that Jacqueline, she's extremely good with intuition. And so I want her to scope everybody. Secondly, she doesn't make decisions based off money, which I love because I like to win and I get caught up in the deal and I know where my flaws are. And I know with her around, she will protect me. So I need her with me to cover my weaknesses. I know that. I'm completely aware of it. Thirdly, her heart is so good. She's the heart of our whole company. Yeah, she's smart, but she has the heart. Our whole company doesn't work for us because they fear me or they fear us. They work for us and they live for us because they know how much we love them. And Jackie wants me to be around people and us as a company around people that are good, loving people that have the same values that we have. So just because we can make money with you, if you don't take care of your wife, like we take care of each other, we're out. If you're not a good mom or dad, we're out.
We fired a guy because he cheated on his wife before.
Dude, we don't play. Listen, I'm going to explain this to you.
What?
Yeah.
Hey, it's your life.
Okay.
It's your life, right? You can create whatever rules you want. People bitch and complain about what's going on in their life because they make decisions based off money, and then they wonder why their people around them don't believe or are in an alignment like them. Everyone around us has the same freaking alignment that we have. Because in the beginning, we don't care about how skilled you are. What we care about is, where is your alignment with us? What are your standards? What are your values? And if those three things, alignment, standards, and values, don't run, and we don't feel like your heart is good, you can't fix a bad heart. You can't fix it. So if somebody's like, dude, I can make you a lot of money, but they got a bad heart, we're out. And so anyway, so like listen, my point is, and a lot of people are like, oh, dude, you're like this with your wife. Look how much success we've had in the last 4 years. Fight me all you want. Don't believe it. Go live your life the way you want it. We're kicking ass and we're continuing to grow. Wish you the best.
But Jacqueline, you've been described as the driving force behind the Elliot Group. What were some of the early challenges you faced in scaling the company, and how did you overcome them?
Wow. I mean, that's a packed question. In the very beginning, we didn't make any money. Like, we went from making, like you said, $2.5 million a year, to then going and living in a rent house and making videos for a whole year without making a dime. We were providing value to people and just getting known. I remember we used to get a lead at 2:00 in the morning, and he'd be like, I'm going to the bathroom. And he'd be making calls from the bathroom. We're like, oh my gosh, we got somebody to call us. Oh yes, awesome. We didn't even have a product to sell. So in the beginning, it was, I mean, there's so many different sacrifices that we made as a couple and as a family with our kids, pulling them out of their house to going and sleeping on mattresses, taking them out of school, doing all these things. I think a lot of people, a lot of families, they don't take risks, you know, and they're like, hey, well, my kid's in kindergarten, you know, I got to make sure that they finish the school year before we go and we start this. And I'm thinking, like, what's the worst that can happen for your kid? Like, they forget to learn a letter in the alphabet. Like, I mean, they're 5 years old. Like, what are you talking about? Like, our kids have been so adaptable to change, and they see us. And he mentioned something a little while ago that I think is just so massively huge. I think a lot of people take a lot of risks starting their business because they want to build their name. They want to prove that they're the right person to do business with. They want to do all of these things, and they make all these sacrifices to try to prove themselves to the world and make sure that, hey, you know what? I'm the one that, you know, can help you. And then they get a little bit of money, and then they don't make any risks anymore. And what happens is that your family sees you as not the risk taker anymore, right? So it's like, you know, they just kind of, you know, it's the certainty, right? They don't look up to you anymore. So what? Your kids start looking up to other heroes. Your team, if you don't make any risk, they don't see, like, hey, they see growth and change, like that, they get sick of you too. So I think our business, I mean, some of the challenges have been, hey, the unknown. You know, but it's always
the
paid
golden
off.
handcuff syndrome was a big one for me and her right out the gate.
Right.
So when I was in the car business, because we made good money, we were handcuffed to the income.
The income, the benefits.
Well, we
you know,
couldn't leave, right? What was I was doing this since I was 18. At 40 years old, I'm going to quit and go build a social media channel and become a sales trainer. That's stupid. And by the way, everyone around us told us how stupid it was. But we were handcuffed because if you were to quit your job, like, you have no money coming in.
Right.
But we broke the handcuffs. And we said we would never be handcuffed again by anyone or anything. Doesn't mean that we're not going to be attached to something, but we're not going to be handcuffed. Well, so when we started our business and our sales team, the first people that I hired in sales were people that knew how to sell, but they weren't people that aligned with our values.
Yeah, they would show up late to the meetings.
They would eye roll.
They felt like, you know, they felt like they were too good. You know, they started getting entitled. So
so we felt like handcuffed. Does that make sense? Like,
but we would let them not come to meetings. They were the high producers, all of these things, and then the values.
If you say something, they might leave, and then we realized that
we're handcuffed.
We're handcuffed again. So you know what we did? Fired every one of them.
You have really high standards with your team.
Yeah, but you know what? We wouldn't have the company we had today had we not let those people go. And then me and her decided that we're going to hire on the heart. We're going to hire on people that have values, standards, and underdogs. Like, we believe in bringing people around us that have been hurt in their life and other places that want to build something long term with us, as long as we can, you know, like help them. And our coaching program changed these people's lives. So we only hire from inside of our coaching program.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And guess what, dude? Now listen,
All of the low producers started like believing in what we did so much because we got
started
rid of the
killing it.
cancer, and they started raising in every way. So it's just,
yeah.
it's
So
just
we built
really
our whole company based off underdogs. If you follow Patrick Bet David and you said he's your mentor, he says all the time that Goliaths get crushed by underdogs.
Yes.
Okay. So we went and we said, hey, do you want to go join the Goliaths and be another number? Or do you want to come be an underdog and help us build this freaking empire? And basically, me and her hired all the underdogs.
And they all came to work with us, not even knowing what they were going to get paid. They moved
across the country.
And you know how big the United States is. So you got
Yeah.
across the country, literally, not knowing what they were going to get paid. And because of that, you know, just following who they
How
need
we
to
built
become
our
as
whole
humans.
culture, everything.
I mean, we pay our guys very, very well, but they had to believe in us first, and they didn't need to come.
There were
based
no
on-
leads.
Yeah.
There were no nothing in the beginning. All there was this big belief that one day we were going to be something and we were going to change the world. That one day we were all going to leave our mark.
And preparing for this interview, I've contacted a few of your employees, a few of your salespeople, and when you speak to them, they all have a sense of mission. They all have like a sense of urgency, and they're all sharks. They're all killers. How do you guys pick for this, or you guys develop them like this?
Develop.
Really?
We develop them, and they believe, and we don't talk about revenue. We talk about lives changed.
Yeah.
So if you get, they get
our revenue board, it says lives changed. That's what it says. And I mean,
Very inspiring.
yeah. And by the way, a lot of people are like, yeah, you know, save that shit. Let's go make some money. That's fine. But don't bitch when all your people leave and there's no culture and nobody wants to be you and you're not the example. I always say this, people will choose their mentor over money. Okay. People will choose their mentor over money. And so if you're in business, if you're just the boss, you're the manager, they're all going to leave you at some point for someone else that inspires them that they want to be. So me and Jackie vowed, number one, to never let our team outgrow us. Me and her, we're students of the game. We grow every day. Patrick Bet David, you said, you know, he has the vault. Last year, we brought 140 of our people to the vault last year. I had the largest team there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I've been on the stage the last 3 years at the vault. And I want to tell you that.
we're the best students.
I sit right up front at the very front. We are the number one student. I win in everything. His Manect, anything that he has, I've stayed number one in everything, super heavyweight every month. I don't lose at anything. And the reason why is because I'm a psycho competitor, but also because we fight for the underdogs and we stay a student. And so, you know,
we can't train people, you know, on saying how much, you know, self-improvement and investing in yourself, you know, is when we're not living it. So if we want them to be the best students, like we need to become the best students first. So we're constantly growing and growing and growing. So our team, you know, the reason why they're sharks and killers is because they're constantly growing too.
And I have a saying that I say all the time, don't be a fraud. Don't be a freaking fraud. Don't come in here and freaking tell these people they can change their life. They can have it all. They can be a great example. And then you're a fraud. Like you're not really who you say you are. My biggest fear would be losing my edge and like letting this die off because I got comfortable. That's why I'm telling you, and this is the best advice anyone can ever get. As you increase in revenue, maybe accolades, people see you and they're like, oh my God, you know, there's Andy or there's this. A lot of people lose their humility.
True.
And then as they rise and they make more money, they forget about God. And God will humble you and he'll bring you back to your knees. I promise you, every time. And so it's a superpower. If you can rise and stay humble and live in humility, it is very rare that anyone can do that. And if you can do that, that is the long game. He will always protect you.
Yeah.
There's another thing that I love about you, which is you don't have anything to hide. And especially navigating controversies can be very challenging. And you openly discussed the FBI investigation and what did you learn exactly from that experience and how it shaped your approach to decision making.
Well, two simple things, and it's very easy. Jackie told me not to go work for this company.
No way. Oh, that's why you trust her all the time now.
Yeah, I mean,
But, you know, now talking about those kind of things, I mean, those things needed to happen in order for us to be where we
Yeah.
are
It's a
right
great
now.
way to think about it.
We needed
No,
to
it's
get
the only
hurt.
way
We
to think
needed
about
to
it.
feel
It is.
betrayed. We needed to make, bad decisions. I could have been the wife. It's like, man, I told you, like, you should have never done this. And I could have never like believed in him. And the thing is, like, when anybody asks us about that, I'm like, man, like, I'm glad that we went through that, because we needed that. We needed to get humbled down and really understand who we are. I think our relationship has gotten closer because of it. I think our relationship with God has gotten close because of it. I mean, our kids know about this stuff. We don't hide anything from our kids. We want to make sure that we're as transparent, and we want to show what the comeback kid looks like. We want to show that, yes, we were those people, but we're not those people anymore. We want to be able to attract the person that has been in jail before, or that has done something bad, has been judged by anybody, that there's a possibility for you to turn your life around. And we wouldn't be able to preach what we preach right now if we hadn't gone through that.
Yeah,
We didn't want to be the perfect.
isn't that God? Right? Like, isn't that like what a good leader does? Is that they tell someone that like you can change.
Right.
I feel sorry for anybody that believes that like you can't change anymore. That would be the worst thing that ever happened to you. Mm-hmm. And so that's why like we give like demons like migraine headaches, because like honestly, like, no, because
you're not going to occupy any space in my mind,
because we're so unreasonable. We're so delusional. We are brainwashed with the fact that your greatest responsibility in life is to be in control of your own thoughts. And we believe that we're going to do really well, and we're doing like God's work, and like we're helping people, and we're being the example. And you know what I'll tell you? Yeah. Two things. One, I'm back on that deal, is that I shouldn't have worked for this guy. He was a bad person. He was shitty to me. He was shitty to everybody. He was a horrible person. He was not my friend. He was not my buddy. This was a guy I worked for, and he did a lot of stupid stuff, and they came after him. And because I ran his company, they came after everybody in charge of his companies. That's the way these things go. And I went home when this happened, and Jackie told me, and I remember this. That's why I said I listened to her. She goes, the truth will set you free. You're not going to lie. And what's crazy is that this owner told everybody, you got to lie, you got to lie, you got to lie, because I'm going to keep you guys out of trouble as long as you lie. Everybody that lied went to prison. You know, the only thing that saved my life?
Telling the truth.
I didn't lie. I didn't lie. I'm going to tell you something. And listen, if people ask me, how do you know God's real? Because I saw him show up at this time in my life when everyone didn't believe in me, and she stayed believing in me. And she goes, the only thing that I'll ask is that you don't lie. As long as you don't lie, whatever outcome happens, I'm okay with it. Just don't lie. Don't lie, don't lie, don't lie. We're asking for God to favor our life. We're going to change. And I remember saying, God, if you'll get me out of this, if you'll help me restart my life, I promise you, I will spend the rest of my life changing other people's lives. I swear on my life. And I would do it for free, and I would do it out of a cardboard box. Still to this day, there's two things that working for the wrong person, now Jackie's in every meeting. And if she says no, the answer is no. And I'm not going to talk her out of it. There's too many options in the world right now. We'll find another way. Not fighting this woman. She's always right. And she doesn't say stuff to try. Jackie's always given me what I wanted. And so that's why I need to be very careful to listen to her, because she loves me that much that she might even let me go the wrong way if I just keep pressing on her. So I learned that when she says something, she's trying to warn me. And I need to realize with wisdom as I get older that is a warning shot. She's telling me I love you, and I'm sure there's another way. And there's always been.
And you also mentioned something in the beginning. It's like you don't always know who you want to be, but you can, you sometimes you just need to know who you don't want to be, right?
I don't want to be
so
that guy.
The reason why I never told him, I told you so, is because I didn't want to be like my mom, because in everything that she did, I told you. And I was like, man, I hated that so much about her that honestly saved, what we had going on, because I never told him, hey, I told you not to listen to that. I told you this, and this is why we're in this spot or whatever. Like, I didn't do that because I needed to go through all of that pain from when I got that. And that's the thing I hated the most about my mom. So I didn't want to bring that onto, you know, our
we're
relationship.
breaking generational
Exactly.
curses. You know
Everything
what I mean?
that we don't like.
Yeah,
You
like,
know.
we call it the bloodline breaker.
Right.
Like we're the bloodline breakers in our family. We've recreated everything. I mean, everything, the way we think, the way we talk, the way we do anything, the way we believe. But that thing that when she told me not to do that and I did it, that's where that led. Because I knew that I could get us ahead for a few years working for this guy who paid more money but was a piece of crap, when I should have worked for someone else that paid less money and worked my way up with that person. But I thought there was a shortcut.
Yeah, shortcuts will get you in trouble.
There's no such thing as shortcuts. Anybody that believes there's shortcuts, I promise you, you're going to give it all back. And you're going to end up, and you're going to have to restart anyway. So you might as well go the right road. There's no shortcuts.
There's fast wins when you work your ass off.
Yes.
Like you have to work really, really hard. Like I believe that our whole business is a very fast win because we've worked so hard, like nonstop.
You know, like Patrick Bet-David talks about like work until you're like, feel like you're hospitalized. Yes. And people are like, what? I don't want to do that. We were almost like hospitalized. We went that hard. We went crazy.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what though? We made it. We made it. We made it on the other side. No, we didn't die.
We're still here.
But I want to say something. I think there's two things that'll truly change a man's life. Jackie always said this to me, and it didn't make sense until it happened, and it might not make sense to some other people until this happened. It might not even make sense to you until the best thing you can do is pray for wisdom and say, God, can you tell me like what that means so I don't have to go through that? But more than likely 99.9% of the people that are watching will have to go through this because they can't understand what it means until they feel it themselves. Jackie said, don't wait for something bad to happen before you give your best. And that FBI thing, me almost thinking about losing my freedom. Man, dude.
That's scary, man.
No, it's more than scary. Internally, you know, you're thinking about your 3 kids, your wife. You're like, was it worth trying to make some money? Was it worth, like, was
Nothing's
it
worth
like, what was I doing? Like, why would I push like that? But you know what I learned? There was no other person in my life telling me to do anything different except her. She was the only one. And so I tell people, I'm like, dude, do you know who the greatest superpower is in the world? Next to God, it's the woman or the man standing right next to you. That's your battle mate. Jackie didn't want to be my queen. She wanted to be my battle mate. She wanted to go to war with me.
I love that.
Yeah, she wanted to suffer with me. Dude, listen, I told you, if there's a shootout, she don't run. She's getting freaking guns and machetes and cutting heads off. Like, we're rolling. If I go to jail, she's going to break me out. Like, I
believe you. That's the scary
Andy
part.
says he wouldn't ever pick a fight with anybody, or like if somebody tried to fight him, he'd be like, whatever. I'm like, it's okay, baby. Don't pick a fight. I'll just shoot him right behind you. I'm cool.
But my point though is that like that's how this woman has stood by my side. Like the loyalty to Jacqueline is like insane. But I also have to respect that when she's warning me, like I need to not like shut her up. Because she can't just keep belling me out my whole life and then I shut her up. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of men, I tell them, I'm like, be really careful. Yeah. Okay? Especially if you got a good woman. When she's saying something, like slow down for a minute. Like she might be telling you something that'll save your whole life. So I say, don't wait for something bad to happen before you decide to change. And so a lot of people, I want you to think about this. They don't get close to their wife. They don't take care of their children. There's a guy that created Nikes, right? Is Phil. He created the book called Shoe Dog. Mm-hmm. And if you've read it, towards the end of the book, everything has a formula in life. Mm-hmm. And be really careful if there's a problem in your life with somebody you love and you're not figuring out the formula is as difficult as it is to get it down. I figured out our formula. It was a hard one to crack. But thank God I did, because that's where we're at. That's why we have the life we have now. But in this book, Shoe Dog, at the end of the book, he talks about his daughters were just like him. They were very easy to get along with. They were just like him. But his son wore Adidas.
To school every day.
I want you to think about it. You're the owner of Nike. You built Nike, and your son wears Adidas. There was this like thing between them, this disconnect. Well, at 19 years old, his son died. He said in the book, I wish I would have figured out the formula with my son.
To understand him.
that, don't wait for something bad to happen before you change. A lot of people right now, they got something that if they don't get their shit together, if they don't fix it, one day you're going to regret it. And so like this thing that happened, it was something bad happened and I was forced to change. Okay. People, they eat crap and eat junk, and in the United States especially, they just eat. And then one day you go in, you realize you got diabetes, you're gonna die. You're like, okay, what diet do I need to follow now? It's like, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you start now? Why would something bad have to happen? Why do you have to get cancer before you stop smoking? Like, why? Like, dude, when I was 4 years old, I got my toe cut off by a lawnmower. My sister ran me over with a riding lawnmower when I was 10 on accident. But my dad smoked every day in the car, chain smoked. And he would roll the windows up, and it was 120 degrees, which is like really hot. Oklahoma, humid, the smokes in the car. He would light one after the other, and he would drive down the road. And I was 4 years old. I was like, Dad, please crack the window. Dad, please. This is in the 80s. Okay, I was born in 1979, so my dad cracked the window, cracked the window, cracked the window. He's like, shut up, I'm the parent. That's the way it was. Everybody smoked everywhere, in every restaurant, in every airport, on airplanes. It was disgusting, and I hated it. I still hate cigarette smoke to this day because I hated those car rides. I got a headache every day. I couldn't breathe. And I remember this day we were driving, I told my dad, crack the window, please crack the window. And he's like, no, you're the kid, I'm the parent. That's the way it was back then. And I remember that day, I asked my dad, just crack the freaking window. Of course, I would love my dad to quit smoking. That day when I got my toe cut off, there was blood everywhere. We were 2 hours away from the hospital. I bled out, basically. I bled out, just blood everywhere. So by the time they got me to the doctor said, there's a good chance. He said, told my dad, there's a good chance your son's going to die today because he's lost so much blood. My dad, I remember, fell to his knees, starts bawling. I go into surgery. About 6 hours later, I come out. My dad, the first thing he says, I'm never going to smoke again. He never smoked again. That thing, had I died, my dad would have been like, I can't believe I was such a freaking asshole. But guess what? What does that mean to anyone watching this right now? What is that thing that you know you need to straighten up? Have you been going home and giving your wife leftovers, being a freaking asshole, exhausted? Have you not been taking care of yourself? I mean, honestly, and at the end of your life, like you're going to like regret it. There's a guy, I looked up to this guy, and he made a lot of money. And I only looked up to him because he made a lot of money. It was about 10 years ago. And this guy was like, hey, when I'm 45 years old, I'm going to sell all my businesses. I'm going to go and I'm going to have this lake house and I'm going to have my yacht. And I remember telling him, I'm like, I really want to take care of myself. I want to get in shape. And he's like, when I do that, then I'll get in shape. Well, when he sold his businesses, he made all his money and he was really out of shape. And he said, when he finally gets his things, he'll do it. Crazy, buys his lake house, buys his yacht, dies of a heart attack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Listen, just so you're aware, his wife married another man, and they enjoyed that yacht and they enjoyed that lake house and they raised the kids out there on everything that he did. I told him, I was like, bro, you got to eat clean. You got to take care of yourself. You got to be better to you. Listen, the goal is you only got one life. You only got one body. You got to take care of it. He didn't listen to me. And anyways, I don't know. My point is that I just always think, I'm like, man, like, how am I going to play my best odds? Right? Like, again, I could die, but you know what? I want to play my best odds. I think I have a better odds by taking care of myself. I think I have better odds by, and by the way, I have this like when we talk about psycho competitor deal, you've heard this?
Yes.
Like if my wife, I'm just saying, like if I die, there's not going to be another man that's going to come in my house. I want her to find love again, but there won't be another man that's going to come in my house that's going to love my wife like I did, that's going to be a dad like I was, or that's going to lead my team like I am. It's not going to happen. And I'm going to make sure that while I'm alive, to make sure that I live at the highest freaking standard there is.
There's no
because
replacement.
I know. Yeah, no, because I know one day I'm going to die. I know it is. And I'm actually looking forward to it.
We're going to die like the Notebook, baby.
Yeah, but I feel sorry for the guy that's coming over to try to take my spot when I die, because it ain't going to happen. That guy's going to live in hell because I've raised the bar so high, he's screwed.
Man, I love how competitive you are, even from the deathbed.
Yeah.
Amazing. But again, I'm getting very emotional. Thank you so much for sharing and being very transparent. But even in this session and several interviews that I watched before this one, you always give credit to God. And I'm a devout Muslim. I always respect that you're very close to God, very strong Christian. Why faith is very important to you?
Well, again, I personally can look back over probably 5 times in my life that I can tell you for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Without him, I wouldn't be here. Yeah. Without him, I wouldn't still be with her. I mean, there's no way. I know for sure.
There's been some really close calls that if God didn't exist,
yeah, we
would not have survived.
Yeah, I just, but I remember one time that we were driving in the car, and it was me and you. We were in our 20s, or I was probably 30, you were 28. We had just had our son. He would cry so much when we'd go on car rides. And Jackie would get him out of the car seat to breastfeed him because he would just cry so hard.
Yeah, we had to drive along.
Oh my God. And we had this like 2 or 3 hour trip, and it was in the car, and he was just bawling and bawling and bawling. And I remember it was raining. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that trailer.
Yeah. It was raining. It was pouring down rain. And we're in the fast lane, and I'm going 80 miles an hour. And I don't know, like we had such a long drive. There was nothing on the highway. It was black. And I just, and she still remembers this, but like we're going 80 miles an hour. And I remember I look up, and I can't believe it. There is a semi stopped with no lights on,
completely off,
in the fast lane. It's in the road in front of us.
Oh God.
I'm noticing ahead of me, cars are flying off the cliff. They're flying off one after another. And I'm literally just turned the wheel as hard as I can. I think it broke our mirror off.
Mm-hmm. The side mirror broke off.
Yeah, it turned. I don't know how.
That's how close.
I don't know how I didn't hit this. There's no way. There's no way. But watch. I don't know how we didn't go off the cliff. And I got the car, and we were fine.
And the baby wasn't in the car seat. That's terrible to say,
but like
true.
I want you to know at that moment. Do you remember that we were praying before that happened? Me and her were.
We were also listening to a song.
We were listening to Hillsong United Christian music.
Oh,
watch! I just want to tell you though, but that moment though, I knew that I was chasing God. I wanted a relationship with Him. Mm-hmm. That was a sign.
It's just another door.
It was a sign. I promise you, those other people weren't lucky. Let me give you another one. Okay,
there's so many of them. There's so many of them.
I love to listen to all of them. It's beautiful.
No, but I can name 5 though. Like I can name a lot of them where I should be dead, but I can name one specifically. I didn't like Harleys. I didn't like big motorcycles, but Jackie worked for a Harley dealership, so she convinced me.
At a Harley dealership.
Number one, she's the ballsy one, right? So she goes and buys one. And I'm like,
it was, it was like not a little one. It wasn't
like a big monster.
It was a Softail Deluxe,
so
a 1584 cc's, Vance and Hines pipes, a big boy. Like it was candy apple red.
And I've never told this story, but she's like, well, you can buy you a big Harley, so I buy this big one with big sissy bars. That's all. Dude, I ain't never rode one before. But guess what? I drove it around the neighborhood a couple times. I'm like, oh, I can do this. So we start riding them. We start riding Harleys together. And, we're like, it's like a thing. We go out on date nights. We're riding Harleys together. Me and her, we would go into work. We'd both ride in on Harleys. We'd kick ass together.
Cool couple.
Yeah, we're the cool couple. Listen, no kids. We're in our 20s. She's probably 26. I'm 24, 27, 25. Oh, yeah, I'm 27. She's 25. I'm older by 2 years. But watch this. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Her little niece is in town, which I loved. I treated her like a daughter. Her little niece. And my bike was so big, there was an ice cream shop that was about a mile away.
Super close.
Super close. I said, you want to go on a ride on the Harley?
We even checked to see if it was illegal for us to ride that way with her, and everything was good.
And so I had her go behind me, and Jackie sat behind her, and she was probably 4 years old, I think, 5 years old. But I'm driving. It's only a 35 mile an hour lane.
It's not fast.
It's not fast. So I'm like, we're going 1 mile. The street is only 35 mile an hour.
There's no highways.
There's no highways. I mean, like, this is safe as it gets. Again, you want to see God? I get on the Harley and we're riding and I'm being very careful. And I notice there's this truck and it's coming up and it hits its blinker like it's going to turn, but then it completely stops. And remember, they're coming this way. I'm going this way. And so as they stop, I'm going and I'm like, okay, we're good. As I get right in front of the truck, he shoots across. Listen, just like he's going to freaking run us over. He just shoots across. The second he shot across, I was going to hit the truck or hit the ground. One of the two things got to happen. So I turned the bike as hard as I can, going 35 miles an hour. Watch. Wham! We smacked the ground. Watch this. The boards all break off on the side of the bike.
With us on the bike with him.
There's two people behind me. Somehow I pull the bike back up, but now I'm on oncoming traffic. And I'm going to get hit head on by a car because I went in the opposite lane to not get hit by him. Wham! I turn the bike as hard as I can. Bam! Smack the ground again.
You know how heavy those Harleys are, by the way?
Broke the boards
off.
off.
Them off. Once they
hey, broke the boards off. Broke the boards off. Pull the bike up. I look at my body. I look at her. I look at our niece, and I'm like,
"That's a miracle.
We don't have one scratch on us. Watch, we don't have one scratch." I told her, I said, well, first of all, I'm like, get off the bike now. I go chase this guy down in the neighborhood. Oh, I was going to kill this guy. This would have been my murder scene. Oh, when I pull up, it's a 15-year-old.
He just got his
who
license.
Just got his license, and he was following his buddy, so he was afraid he was going to lose him. And he just shot out. He said, I don't know why I did it, but I just did it. And I was like, oh my God. I remember I said, how old are you? He said 15. And I was like, oh. I was like, dude, we almost died.
God,
like, you almost died. But my point is that again, God, I saw God right then. But I can look back over these times and I always tell people this, right? Like, it doesn't matter what religion, me and Jackie
we haven't talked about this stuff in
we've never talked about it. But my point is, if somebody was to ask me though, when I was 22 years old, I know my dad wore a Catholic necklace growing up, never talked about God, not one time, never. He never mentioned God. He never talked about anything, but he wore a Catholic necklace our whole life growing up. He always wore a cross, but he just never explained. No one ever talked about it. So really my whole life, I was kind of like raised on the street, running around lost. At 22 years old, I went out and drank, I partied, I did a bunch of bad things. And I remember I was like, God, I got to change my life. And I don't even know who God is, but like, I want to learn. And so I had holy jeans on. I was 22. I had an affliction shirt. This was back when that's what people wore.
Was a style.
Well, I'm going back 25 years ago.
Tips too, by the way.
And I was looking for answers. So there's this sign. It says, come in, meet God. I don't know how I built up the courage to go into this place. I had never been in a church before, but I walked in and a lady meets me when I walk in and she goes, can I help you? And I said, I'm here to you don't really know what to say, but you're here to go to church, right? And she says, we don't come in here dressed like that. And I was like, these are my people. God doesn't love me. God doesn't, I just need to get out of here.
He was just judged.
And I remember leaving. And that's why I told you, I don't like rich people. Growing up, I was always made fun of. I wore the same 2 pairs of shorts every day. I always was laughed at. I was always mocked at. I was the kid that was hanging out with I had cooler friends. And when their parents would get home, they would send me home, but the other kids didn't have to go home. But I knew that I would go home because I just had shitty parents, right? I didn't have a mom at all, but my dad was always gone. You could just tell I didn't have very good manners. Again, if you don't invest in somebody, they're just going to be a piece of crap, right? And, my point is that I was always looking for someone to look up to. I was always looking to try to find God, or honestly. And then I met Jackie. She was 24. I was 26.
You know what I used to do?
And she was like my mom.
No, I was
like,
his mom,
I love
but I
her,
used
but
to
I was
read
like,
him Bible stories, children's Bible stories with the pictures, and he
There
would
was
be
3
falling.
words.
He would be falling asleep, and I'd read them to him about everything, Noah's Ark, like everything.
and I'd fall asleep
And
every night.
it had the giraffe on there with the ark and everything. Like everything. Like it was pictures.
Well, because I didn't understand it, and so the idea of it is that as I kind of started to understand that God loves you and doesn't judge you, and like you can be saved as lost as you've been, right? And so like I'm like falling in love like with this like recreation, like being reborn, because I didn't like my identity. I didn't like my heart. My heart was very cold. A lot of people have a really cold heart. People don't talk about it at all. It's cool to be tough. I'm tough. I fought all the time. But having a bad heart, having a soft heart is very important in life, to not run everyone around you off. Look, if you have an ice cold heart, you're going to burn everything to the ground. Right. And honestly, like that's what I was doing in my life, my whole life, is I would burn everything to the ground. And the end of my fate was always with my anger. I would always get really angry about things. And I would just, because you don't know how to process anything. And by the way, you don't know about love. Like love's for weak people, right? But now I learn like love is like the most dangerous secret weapon on planet Earth. And without love, you're bankrupt. Yeah. Like you have nothing.
It's the most powerful tool you have. I mean, you talk about our team, like in how we run our company mostly is with heart.
All heart.
And
our guys cry in meetings every week.
Yeah.
They're killers.
And they're tough.
They just can't believe.
I'm getting teary-eyed. It's just a beautiful story.
It's crazy. But anyways, that's why I would say I keep trying to give credit to God, is because I just know that like he has a plan for us. And I just know that.
Well, we've tried to do it alone.
Yeah.
And it never works. It never works out. There's always a better plan. There's always a way. And I think that sense of vulnerability, of knowing that you don't have to solve everything yourself, and giving it to God gives you that extra power that you need in everything in life. It gives you different eyes, a different perspective. It keeps you grounded. It gives you that gratitude that you need to be able to push. And honestly, like we can set some goals that like people don't really understand. And that's what we do. That's what we're addicted to. Most successful people are addicted to something, right? So we choose to channel ourselves to, things that are good, right? So we've set some pretty crazy goals in our life that there's no way that we would have hit them. That we know that the only way that we were able to attain those goals and really make it is because God opened those doors that we couldn't open. And then we feel powerful because we know that.
Well, and plus, like, honestly, like the man that I am to her without God is not a good man. Like the dad I am to our kids is not a good dad. Like the leader I am to our team, like when there's problems, like without God, like I'm not a good man. I'm not very good to me. Yeah. Like I'm a pretty shitty person to myself when I don't feel the grace of like God on me, because, we got to live with ourselves like our whole life, every day, every minute. And, your mind isn't your friend. Right? Like it tries to sell you stories and lies. The devil is very good. He's the father of lies. Sure. And so he'll try to sell you every story in the world, why you can't make it, why you're not worthy, why you're not valued, why she's against me, why, that. And really at the end of the day, those are all stories. They're all stories that I made up. And, the truth of it is that like, we can live in abundance. Honestly, I had scarcity and poverty beaten into me as like, at a core level as a kid. And so like, until I really got close to God, did we ever step into abundance?
I mean, I always say that one of your superpowers is you're an excellent communicator. And now here seeing you, the communication, the conviction that comes from you, I think that sometimes God speaks through you. That's why I think the secret for your conviction, because you're an excellent storyteller. The way that you speak, even you got me emotional, several stories. I don't know, what's your secret for communication, man?
You know, I
Well, we believe in having like a ministry. You can change, you can save lives in church. And I think that honestly with us, like he has this gift of doing exactly what you said, that we believe that we do it in that. It's you look at like John Maxwell, you know, right? And like he was a preacher, like he did all of this and he changed a lot of lives, but the church wasn't the way to do it. He taught through leadership in businesses, and that was his calling. So I really truly believe
he
that
saved more people on the street than he could ever have in a church.
right.
I study people, and I'm pretty hard to get through to sometimes. And so I tend to feel like what someone was going through or how they operated or acted when they got through to me. And I figure if you look, I always say this, a focused fool can beat a distracted genius, right? Like you can be the smartest person in the world. If you're an underdog, if you can just get focused, if you can just use your heart, if you'll just be willing to be coached, like you're going to become dangerous. So anything that anyone can do to me, because like, honestly, I'm not that smart. Like, I'm like, okay, I need to learn that because I can do it to the masses now. And it's not that I can do it, but I can tell my story the way that I need to get people to understand it. Because at the end of the day, I didn't understand the Bible, but Jackie reading a child's Bible to me, she got it through to me, and that creates this love, right? And so like it doesn't.
He would fall asleep most of the times, but he got it.
Well, yeah, but
Persistence.
But Dwayne, so me and her went to a church back in 2011. And really, we've never told this story, but like there was, when I gave my life to God was in 2011. And I was in a church. And by the way, like I'm one of these people that like, I'm not going to do it. I don't take bets I can't win. So like, I don't like, if you're going to let's arm wrestle. Like if I don't think I can win, I'm not going to do it. And it's not like I shouldn't do hard stuff, but like, it's like, I want to win at everything. So I'm like sizing everybody up and I'm like, can I win? And like, I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm not good at. And I'm not going to bite off something that I don't think I can see all the way through till the end. Even if it's super hard, I'm cool with that. But like, I have to believe that I believe I can finish it or that I can win. If you're like, let's wrestle. If I can't see myself winning, if you're like, let's fight. If I can't see myself knocking you out, I'm not going to fight you. Anything that I doubt in my head, I'm not going to take on. And so like when we were in church, we were in this small little town. So me and Jackie, we were building this big house in our 28, 29. We were building this big house. We're making a lot of money. See, me and her, we've scrapped our life many times and ran. Okay. And at this time, and she may say ran, but like called it off and weren't afraid to restart. And we literally, we were building this house on this land. We were building all these things. We're young and we're doing what everybody thought we couldn't do. And we're proving everybody wrong. And one day we're about to break ground on this new house. And Jackie comes home from work and she's like, is this what our life looks like? Like it's 10:30 at night. We leave at 5 a.m. We don't see each other. 6 days a week we're gone. We're going to build a big ass house. Like, is this what our life is like? And I was like,
isn't that what you want?
well, I was like, yeah, but I was like, that's the American dream, right? And she's like, nah, it's not my dream. She's like, I don't like this. I don't like where we're going. I don't like what this is. I don't like how we're not getting to see each other. I don't like any of this. And she goes, do you want to move to the lake and just get, because we had a lake house. She's like, and just get out of here. And I'm like, and like quit our jobs and leave everything. And she's
I
like,
used to be very ballsy.
and dude, watch this. I go, yes.
That was a fast yes.
Boom. We both quit our jobs. We sold everything. By the way, the market just crashed in 2008.
The market crashed in
so
2008.
when we made this decision, we moved down to the lake thinking we were going to sell everything because we had equity in it. Yeah. But overnight, the housing market would crash in the United States and everything that we had equity in now went to nothing. And now we were even upside down in it.
Yes.
So hold on.
That's our luck.
But guess what? Me and her were together though. So we said, okay, cool. Well, we're together. And we needed God at this moment. Right. And we were,
everybody was filing for bankruptcy. Yeah. Everybody was,
I kept telling her I wanted to file bankruptcy because we could easily wipe it all out. Jackie doesn't play like that.
I'm Hispanic.
Yeah.
Okay. My parents are immigrants that went to the United States and they didn't even speak English. Like they worked really hard for everything. And, like I didn't have like the best childhood growing up. But one thing I knew is like, if my mom could come and barely speak English and she made it, I can speak English. I have legs. I have, everything I need to make it. Even if we owe money that we don't have, we made a decision. We signed on a note. We did whatever. We made a commitment to do this. I am not going to file bankruptcy. You know, I'm not going to do that. So he was like telling me,
It took us 2 years so I was the top salesman in this company I worked for. I drove an hour one way. I drove a $1,500 car.
He drove a
We had to
$1,500
sell everything, and we owed all this money.
a Mazda 3. Okay, I knew when he was about to get home because
You could smell the clutch.
he can't drive a stick shift to save his life, okay? And I could smell the clutch when he
I
was
just tried to
getting
stick it in
close.
the damn
And I
thing.
knew that he was getting there because I could smell the car. I could smell the car. That was it. And I drove, you know, another, mine was $3,000.
350,000 mile
Honda Pilot.
Honda Pilot or something.
And
But
you can hear the bell.
The belt would shrill when we started it. But you know what? And by the way, I was the top salesman. I was the number one in our company.
Oh, yeah.
And here we are because Jackie's so stubborn that we have to pay all our debt off. Look, I couldn't even buy a coffee on the way to work. We were buckled down.
I would make the coffee. I would make the lunches. I would do everything, pack
I had to
everything.
bring my own lunch to work. I mean, dude, it was like prison. But what we learned though was discipline, and that's why we have a debt-free life now. And
I learned how to make beans like 20 different ways because it was the easiest, cheapest
we
thing
got
to cook.
meat once a week.
Oh yeah.
Once a week, she would buy meat, and she was like, "It's meat night tomorrow." I'm like, "Yes, yes,"
And it tasted so good.
because I'm eating beans every meal.
I'm so
dying
resourceful.
for
So I
some
can
meat.
cook anything from anything.
But we
like
went through this together, right? But at this time, she asked me, "Do you want to go to church?" And you know, she was raised Catholic. I wasn't raised really anything, and you know, we were in. I always tell people this. I don't care if you're at the bottom and you're no one and you're dead E and you're on zero. As long as you're looking for answers, you're gonna make it.
Right.
If you're at the top and you know you're at the killer, we're in a killer state right now. I operate from a state of madness. I'm always looking for answers. It's the people in the middle that are numb, that aren't looking for answers, that are in real big trouble.
Yeah.
And so at this point, we were down here. We owned a lot of money. And I knew we were a year or two out of even being out of this hole, even if I was number one at the company I worked for, which I was. And we were going to be in
I was
2 years of
posting
hell.
cars for him
Dude, she
and
was
driving
at home working.
I was
for me.
working.
We were hustling every way you could. I would buy a car, flip it on the street, plus working here. But going back to God though, like the thing that really helped me when you said like I'm a good communicator, and I think about the times where people got through my thick head when I needed to change, and I think about those people and how they got to me. Okay, I think about the way Patrick Bet David speaks, the way that he talks, the stories he tells. Ed Milet, the way he talks, the stories he tells. And these guys are all my very good friends now. David Goggins, the way that he, you know, which I'm doing a big event with him, April 26th. When we go back, like all these guys now are my buddies. I've learned something from all of them. But this preacher, this guy, would set the foundation even for this man who I am now. We go in, and the very first service, this guy goes, "All right, today I'm going to piss some people off." Dude,
Preacher talk like this.
preacher talk just like this. He goes, "I'm going to piss some people off. Some of you guys came in here and you wanted to feel good today. You want me to tell you everything's going to be okay? It ain't. I'm going to give you the truth today. And the truth, it sucks. But the truth will set you free. So if you don't like what I say today and I run you out of here, good.
I did my
I
job.
did my job. Go find another church that makes you feel good. You want to be close to God? I'm going to lead you to the Lord today." And dude, and I remember like this guy was so direct, and he would yell, and he was passionate. And dude, I always say this, and this is why like me and Jackie I think are killing it, is because you can be a preacher in the pulpit. You can know everything about the Bible. You can know everything about God, but you can be up there and you can lead no one to him. Because you know everything doesn't mean that people see that you're still hungry about what the hell that you're living for. And that's why I tell people, I'm like, dude, you could have $100 million in a private jet and I could be broke over here. But because I'm hungry, everyone's going to come over here and they're not going to go over there with your loser ass. And one of the things that me and her have always gravitated towards is hunger. Tony Robbins says the difference between people who make it and people who don't are those that are hungry.
gotta stay hungry.
It's a hunger. It's a hungry thing that's in you that draws people toward you, that makes people want to dream with you. And then there's the nightmare land guy, and then there's the dreamer, right? And so the passionate guy is the guy that everybody believes in because it seems like he knows the way, right? And so this guy, the way that he was talking about God, I felt like he knew the way. And I remember this. I told you, at the end of the service, he was like, "Hey, raise your hand if you want to give your life to God." And I remember I was like, man, that sounds so good, right? But I was like, no, I'm not going to do it, you know? And so I stepped back and I skipped it and I left and I was really upset because I should have done it. And she's sitting next to me. It's just me and her, you know, and come back the next week. It takes 6 services. And finally, at the end of about the 6th time I went, I remember I was closing my eyes and I was like, he's like, stand up. Because he's like, everybody bow your head, close your eyes. So we're sitting like this, we've got our eyes closed. And he's like, I want you to stand up and I want you to meet me eye to eye. And it's a very small church. There was only 50 people in there, right? And so
It felt like such a big
I
church.
remember looking around one time and there was like people looking around that wouldn't like close their eyes and they're like seeing who's going to stand up. And I was like, oh, dude, like you're going to get judged. Like, oh my God. This day, I remember I had this peace come over me and I just remembered, I was like, this is the time where I, you know, like give up my old life. And I remember when I stood up, I remember I started bawling. I was crying. I never cry. So she could see me cry. So she started to cry. And I remember that day, though, that would change everything for the rest of our life.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, like, I don't care what religion you have, having a relationship with God, praying over your family at night, you know, like it's priceless. It's priceless. And, you know, people say, what if you die and there's not God? Well, I believe there is. And I think one of the reasons why we're successful in business is because we had faith to believe that we were going to be successful. Mm-hmm. And we have found it. And I don't think anything is ever going to come good of anyone's life without faith. And if we get one day to where we die and God isn't real, well, I'm glad that I believe that he was. It made me a better man. I do believe, and I can name 5 times in my life, and which I know that I couldn't have a million, but I there's no way. Humans can't explain it. So it has to be a higher power. And I believe the way I believe, but that relationship, but I have felt before, like I can feel like anxiety and worry coming over me. And I just
the only way it goes away.
And immediately I can find peace. I wish I could buy this. It's just not for sale.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If I could bottle the peace, then I would sell it. It doesn't exist. It's only in a relationship.
We'd be the richest people in the world if we could bottle peace. And
yeah, but the people that really believe in God, though, and I mean, don't go. A lot of people throw the God card around, and you know, I want to make sure that I give him credit, because at the end of the day, I think she's not stupid. I'm too stupid to pull any of this off. I'm way too stupid. The only thing I did right was just honestly surrender and then ask him to use us, to use my treasures. I'm talented. I'm a very good salesman. I know I am. I've been a great salesman since I was a kid. My dad told me when I was a kid, he's like, dude, you're telling stories all the time. He called me Pinocchio. Your nose is always growing. I was always telling stories. But one day I would find out that a vast majority of my wealth would come from the ability to tell stories. And if you look at any of these influencers now that are building a real brand, or big, they're amazing at telling stories. They're the best at painting pictures, influencing, persuading, selling scenarios, selling situations. They're so good at it. And they're on fire. Nobody wants to follow a freaking deadbeat loser. Okay? So I don't care how much money you make. I don't care how cool you think you are. Someone hungrier is going to take your spot. And more than likely, like Patrick Bet-David said, it's going to be an underdog. And so that's why me and her, we built our whole business around underdogs.
Man, this has been the fastest interview ever, but I want to be respectful of your time. My last question is, what is the legacy that both of you want to leave behind?
Why don't you roll?
Wow. So it's kind of evolved. I mean, in the very beginning, we knew that we can change some lives. We knew that we can build something really cool. But you know, the crazy thing that as business owners and what we do, you know, for our people, and the reason why we have such a cool team is because, you know, what we're building in them. we're building leaders. We're building people that, really, like when we first started our company, we were hiring people and they were like all single, like they didn't have families. They were just, wanting to make money, and they came to us, and then we were who we need to be. We became marriage millionaires, and they're like, man, like we're their example. Now they all have kids. They all are great dads and moms. I mean, they're really, really amazing people. So what we're trying to build is like something that's more of like a movement, like showing people that are lost. And Andy talks about, like, we find, we're like, the Robin Hoods, I guess. We find the underdogs and we believe in them. We try to show more and more people, and that's why we're here. I mean, we're here in Dubai. We decided to come across the world to kind of, spread more of the word and show people what's really possible. Because like we said, we didn't have success in our DNA. We were least likely to succeed in everything that we had. Like our childhoods, I mean, they're not the best childhoods growing up. But, it's, especially with a lot of different places, like, like we mentioned, I'm from Mexico. Like in Mexico, if you don't have the right last name, if you don't have like the right connections, it doesn't matter how hard you work, you will never be anybody. We came to the United States, and in the United States, I mean, you're just loud and you believe in something, and you start making videos sometimes or whatever, you draw some attention, you really believe in it, you can achieve anything. Right. So I think our goal is to really create something and provide some light. And, we talk about having a ministry, like we believe in like really like changing and creating more individuals that do get everything they want in life, because that's what we preach. We believe in having it all. And we're that example of who we are. So what are we doing it for? We're doing it for our kids. We're doing it for our people that work for us, that they can build their lives to create more leaders. We talk about people all the time that are great legends. We have Tony Robbins. We have all of these people. But what if we can create a bunch of those people that learn from us? That is what we want to do. We want to see how much God can use us to be able to equip the world with the tools that we got. And we got a second chance. We got not a second, a third, fourth, fifth chance. I mean,
10,000.
Yeah. So that's what we really want to build. We want for God to use us to see what we can do on this earth now, because we did waste a lot of time. I mean, we're not that young anymore. We have, and man, the coolest thing is so amazing when we have events. We love helping the people that are our age, and, all of these people that come in. We have kids that are 17, 15 years old that are like, hey, I introduced my dad. We're coming to an event together. I brought my dad here, and, we're teaching them how to do sales. And it's these kids now that are the future that are showing the parents. Mm-hmm. And they're coming in, they're showing, like, we're preaching the same thing, but sometimes they need to hear it from somebody else. And it's just really cool. That's the legacy that we want to build. We want to be able to be used in a way where we can show the light and show people like, hey, what you did in the past, I mean, doesn't define you. It's who you become now. So
yeah, I think the legacy is the comeback kid. Mm-hmm. If we were to just shorten it up, it's that whatever you have done
doesn't define you.
Is gone. The old is gone, the new has come. The comeback kid never stopped coming back. Mm-mm. And so there was a day that I wouldn't have wanted to clone me. Not one of me. Today, I'm really proud of the way that I treat my family, my wife, my kids, my team. I'm good to myself, which I think is super important for anyone who wants to do anything great in this life. If you're not going to be good to you, you're not going to be good to anybody else. I'm proud of the business that we built. Again, a lot of people they're making money, but they're not proud of what they've built.
You've become, you can see it in your children.
But I'm ready to.
We're our kids' heroes. They want to be like us. I mean, a lot of people build legacy, they think, but their kids aren't seeing them as their heroes. There's lots of times where we can think in our lives that we weren't those heroes to our kids. We have become that, and we're massively proud of that.
I want to clone. Here's what I want. I want to clone a billion people that think like me, which is this: take very good care of your family. Because no one does. Everyone says they do, but they don't. Really be the ones that do it. I promise you, everyone will follow you. Because at the end of the day, everybody is there's nothing more important than your family. Secondly, take care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anyone else. I want to clone people to take care of themselves. Why? People that take care of themselves genuinely go out and love people more. Whether they ever believe in God or they don't, they're going to provide more love and they're going to make a difference. And then lastly, I think one of the biggest things is, hope in a future. A lot of people, the reason why they don't give everything they have today is because they don't really see a future. We're alive in a very special era. The fact that, people can learn for free through a podcast like this from people who are living proof that they changed. I mean, Tony Robbins, I looked up to him. It took 40 years for him to build his business. We built our business in 4 years.
Insane, man.
I'm watching more people become millionaires faster every day. I'm watching people get in shape. I'm watching people be good examples. I'm watching people be leaders. But also, I'm watching a lot of fake crap going on in the world right now.
Yeah.
Find somebody that you want to be like, study them, learn them, emulate them, model proven practices, believe that you can become like that, and you will, and you'll even become better than them. And it doesn't take as long as they say.
No.
People say it takes 10, 15 years. Maybe 10, 15 years ago, but really now,
With all the information available.
two good years of being consistent, 2 good years of doing the right thing, making good decisions, being around the right people. Don't procrastinate. Like, if you want to do something, just do it, dude. Just go and take the risk. And, to end it, procrastination is a thief of time. It's the devil and it's a thief of opportunities. And be loyal. If you find someone that's good to you, that takes care of you, that gives you an opportunity, that believes in you, remember who you were and how you got built is because you're around that person. You're indebted to that person. Take care of them also. A lot of people forget about how much someone's invested in them. And then when they learn enough, they run off on their own. And then when they crash, they forget that they only were that way because they were around that person and that person was protecting them. Okay?
We have a lot of people that listen to our podcast, a lot of business people that listen to our podcast. How can we and them support you guys on your mission?
I mean, you can follow us on social media, right? Which is like official Andy Elliot. Go to YouTube. We have a big YouTube page.
Or Instagram.
Instagram, yeah. Official Jacqueline Elliot on Instagram. You can see she drops all her content.
Yeah.
Mine's official Andy Elliot. The biggest thing is, we have a WhatsApp number used all around the world where people ask us questions. They just ask questions, right? And I created this number when I started my business, and it's been the easiest way for me to talk to people, right? And it's a number. It's 918-210-0254.
+1 for here.
Yeah,
it's
but
US.
it would be a U.S. number +1, but it's 918-210-0254, U.S. number. You can text. Or you can go even a lot of people, it's easy. Just go to my Instagram, click in my bio, and then you can reach out to me. I mean, at the end of the day, how can you support us? Honestly, look, we don't need anyone to buy or pay or to do anything. You know what I would say? Take this podcast, watch it 15 times. Really? Get a spiral notebook, get a pen, and just take notes.
Yeah.
And the thing that stands out to you the most, pick 1 or 2 things.
Yeah.
Dude, go knock them out. And I promise you.
Find your weakest points. And
Dude, your whole life will change. And then you're an investment. So spend money on you. In the United States, it's $1 billion a day industry that people are self-developing. That $1 billion, 95% of that money comes from inside the US. So it's telling me that a lot of other countries aren't really big into self-development. They're not really spending money on themselves, but they spend money on crypto, they spend money on real estate, they spend money
on cars.
Dude, on cars. The ROI on yourself, ROI on a house may be 3% or 3 times. But ROI on you when you invest in you, 1,000%. It's insane. So I would just say, find someone that you want to be like and get as close as you can. Pay them to teach you. People pay us for sales. We teach them. People pay us for leadership. We teach them. We do masterminds. When we came to Dubai, I mean, we're throwing a whole bunch of free events down here. Free. We're just going to rock this area.
We're going to pour into the community.
And we're
Because
gonna
that's where we
share in the
started our business, by making free YouTube videos, and then the people change their lives. So
yeah, be a value first person.
yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah. So we built our company based off giving free value for 1.5 years and not making any money. And then one day when I created something and I was like, hey, everybody already owed me money.
Yeah. It felt like
So
they owed you.
Well, I mean, because I already changed their life for free. I gave it out on social media. And then so they bought what we had, and we didn't hide it behind a paywall, like pay me and I'll teach you. No, we gave it away for free online. And then we created some curriculum that could help people learn fast, like structured training, you know? I mean, you could go watch, I have 2,000 YouTube videos right now. I mean, that would sound like a nightmare going to try to learn 2,000 YouTube videos to figure out how to overcome an objection in sales or how to recruit and hire. Just go buy the recruiting and hiring training. And then literally after, 3 days, you know how to do it. You don't have to watch 2,000 videos to hopefully find me say somewhere in a video somewhere how to recruit somebody. And so that's the power, is like cut the check for speed, and you're an investment. So just, whoever that is with you, just go do it. I promise you. You'll grow. That's the shortcut.
Man, Andy, Jacqueline, I still have so many questions that I haven't covered. You guys always have a spot here on the podcast. Whenever you guys are in town, please. But again, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us. We really appreciate you.